Welcome to our flow home. This house is the last affordable home in Vancouver, so we snatched it up. It's a bit of a fixer-upper, and it's been a lot of work, but we love it. We're happy.
Steve and I live here with our dog Lozen and our cat Kitten. We've owned it for about a year and a half, and we've lived in it for just over a year. So this particular marina and where we live is, I think, a really good compromise for both of us. So yes, I think it is really just that perfect balance between the city and nature. So you can jump on the train and we can go for really nice food, but also we can go and be at a lovely beach in 5 minutes. And when the marina closes at night, we walk to the end of the dock and we basically have front row seats to a sunset every night. We're very fortunate. My favorite part about living in the float home is when the house rocks. When there's waves or when there's storms. I love storms in this house. The rocking and the sort of the waves and it lulls you to sleep. It's very, very calming and it's very lovely. And affordability. Again, we don't have property. There's pros and cons with that, and one of the pros is that this is very affordable.
Yep. The home is like over 40 years old, and I think it's somewhere between 1,100 and 1,200 square feet.
It's clearly homemade by whoever the first owner was, with repairs done by us.
When you live in a flow home, you have to moor it somewhere. Where you moor it, you have to pay a mortgage fee, and the mortgage fee actually covers our electrical as well.
We have hot water, we have cold water, we have flushing toilets, we have a dishwasher, we have a washer dryer. It's basically like any other apartment. And like, it's ultimately the marina that supplies the water lines and the sewage system. For heating, the only heating is the propane fireplace and electric heaters that are plugged in.
By profession, I am a outreach nurse and amateur vintage toy collector.
And for work, I'm a contractor consultant. We are originally from BC, but we moved to the Yukon about 13 years ago, and then moved back to BC to be close to family, aging parents. So when we decided to move back, affordability was a huge driver. We were either looking at having a really small condo or something else. So I started to look at float homes because we wanted to live close to the water, and we took that very literally and decided to live on the water.
Probably researched float homes for probably a good 8 or 9 months before we decided, let's look into a float home.
Maria, the realtor, she knew like what to look for. So we wanted Maria to help us through the process.
Yeah, she helped us out so much. Eventually this place, we noticed it was on the market, and so we bought a fixer-upper, ripped it all apart down to the subflooring before building up kind of our dream home.
Like, we knew it needed some work. We found out what state it was in when we actually started to do that work. So when we started to rip out the kitchen, when we started to pull up the flooring, a couple months later when the roof started to leak, we realized just how much, repairs and work was needed.
The bathroom was completely redone, new bathtub.
Entirely new kitchen, new flooring, got rid of non-load bearing walls in a few different places. The bigger things we've had contractors help us with. And we actually just a couple weeks ago added flotation to the bottom as well. It definitely benefited from some reinforcement. Our house is on styrofoam blocks.
This summer, we're gonna slow down the pace just a bit to finally enjoy the place, but also recognizing like we have to address the outside of the house. And
It's pretty boring on the outside, pretty plain, but as you say, does the trick.
Yeah. Hey, come on in. Yeah, this is, you sort of walk in, and this is where we, don't really have a mud room. We have a mud area, so this is where we hang our jackets and hats. One of the things we learned when we moved in here is because nothing really is up to code or the right size for anything, is everything's really tight, and to accommodate that space, like we had to get real creative. So we built these sliding doors here so that we could maximize being able to like get space inside and out without like, cause you see with this beam here, you can't like open it up. So it's kind of what we sort of settled on. Works for us. And of course you walk through here and you come into the kitchen where, you know, you got a lot of space here, but you got to be really creative and intentional with where you put things and how things get put away so you can find them again. Yeah. Really love having a gas stove again. I've always loved cooking on a gas stove, and that's really nice to have. I love the color. The color scheme of the whole place. I mean, I got lucky with the way it looks because I didn't really have to pick anything. It was all sort of Christine's vision of how things looked. I would just more or less laid stuff out. This is the bathroom that we're in. Yeah, like it was entirely different. I think this is the room that probably looks the most new in so much as the changes that were made from what we had. Again, just being real creative with the space. You know, it's tiny, but it works. But one thing we didn't really scrimp on was the size of the bathtub. We did get an oversized bathtub, which I love. It's nice and deep and long. Yeah, bathing's pretty. I love having a hot bath every night, so it's great to have this space. This whole area, it's actually, you can't really see, but it's coated with this thin layer of plastic that we painted over everything, so it is actually entirely waterproof too. Every nook and cranny you got to use to store stuff. We built all this too, and it's actually just, all it does is it just hides the cat litter. That's why it's always just sort of hanging open like that. Yeah, just a little bit of storage. And then in here is sort of the laundry area. Obviously looks like trash right now, but it is like, it's our utility closet, I suppose. And again, it's just chock full of storage, but yeah, we make it work. There it is. And again, like same idea, nothing's really normal, or like we couldn't just buy a door. We had to like make the sliding doors ourselves just to really maximize the space we have. Yep, so this is our dining area. It's nice that you get a lot of light here. We got a nice little table here. It's where you actually get the most sunlight that really comes into the house of natural light. This was actually the spot where when we were down on the subfloor, there was like some significant damage in here, and that was the spot where like I had removed like a chunk of the subfloor that had to be replaced, and when I removed that, I was literally like looking at the ocean. That was definitely a moment where I was like, what are we getting into here? Maybe feeling a little bit that we were out of our depth, no pun intended there. But you know, construction and renovation is all about pivoting and just sort of working with what you have, and just fixed it. You got to be creative with space, so we made sure we made this little dog kennel for Lozen whenever we need to leave her home. You just sort of like that, but she's just chilling for now. You sort of walk in. This is where we chill. This is the living room. It's pretty cool. We got a nice dope couch. You know, the propane fireplace keeps us warm in the wintertime. Yeah, I like this room. It's good to chill. You know, it's welcoming. A lot of space to have guests when we have guests over. Although we do have to actually we can't really throw a party, because if you had like 25 extra people in the house, the whole place is going to just sink that much lower. So we have to stage having friends over. When we came in here, we'd ripped it all down to the floor. There were these ugly square plastic tile things that we didn't like. We wanted something flat, and then when we took them down, we just saw this exposed like 2x4 cedar planks that were running the length, and we were like, geez, we just have to like stain them, make it look good, you know. I think it complements well against like the glossy sort of exposed beams, and yeah, it's just a nice look. Come on, let's go check out upstairs. Welcome to upstairs. You walk immediately into the office space, which we share, me and Christine. Christine largely works from home. My station is just more like arts and crafts for the most part. And there it is. It's also where I get to like keep my collection of toys and whatnot that I've downsized over the years to accommodate living in a flow home. But it is probably aesthetically at least my favorite room in the house, I think. It's where the most things that I like to look at and collect are in. If you make your way down here, this is the hallway. It's again just more storage. We had to get real creative with the making doors again. In the space you have, we actually don't have a door into the bedroom here. Again, we're not too worried ourselves because it's really just me and Christine here, but you come in, this is where we chill. It's pretty rad. Got a little ensuite bathroom there. We actually have our coffee maker upstairs because I can be a bit of a bear if I don't have my coffee first thing in the morning. And so yeah, we just find having up here, I can just sort of wake up, have a cup of coffee, watch the news, chill out. Yeah, and just slowly make my way into the world. This is our bed. Sometimes all four of us are up here. This is Kitten. He's pretty chill. Yeah, it's good. I love the skylight, especially like on a nice like stormy rainy day and it's just pounding down like the raindrops. And again, yeah, you can open it up, get a good draft going through in the summertime, which is handy. And it's a nice little view. The view's interesting. It really depends on the tide line. If it's high tide, it's technically mountain view, but at a low tide, you don't really get to see them. And here's just the ensuite bathroom. And I don't know what you can say. Yeah, it's a bathroom. The deck's great. The deck's really awesome. Come on out, yeah. It is pretty rad out here. Yeah, like especially on a day like today. Got some chairs, an umbrella if you need it, and it's pretty awesome. Yeah, like it's just like a nice little chill place to hang out here. You can see the outside world, more mountain view. Storage is at a premium house, so this is actually just to keep our camping supplies stored. That's all that's in there. So yeah, this is sort of like, this is our marina and the community of 3. But if you come over here is the other marina that we're not a part of this marina, but we're kind of like cousins to them, and we've gotten to know them well. And most of the people, especially the ones that live close to us, it's a really awesome community to be here, and we're pretty happy. Our mortgage fees are paid monthly on what's effectively a year contract. Broadly speaking, you could say that of float homes in general, there's always this, you gotta cross your fingers that you're gonna be able to stay there. There is no security.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, we're in a marina that is owned by somebody else that has the right to ask us to leave at any moment. We just sort of rest assured based on the history of the place that's not likely to happen.
A float home, there's no such thing really as a straight line. Like everything's a little janky. It is by and large like a really solid structure. It can take a beating.
And it does.
And it does.
Because we also bottom out in low tide.
Yeah, you need to keep tabs on the tide. I mean, obviously you have no concern with the high tides, but when those tides are low enough, our house goes doot, 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 and then it bottoms out on one corner. And then, I mean, luckily it happens in the middle of the night for the most part, but you're literally sleeping like this.
But we started to get used to it. I remember the first ones.
Oh yeah.
We panicked.
Get into
The king tides, which, winter and summer, the really, really low ones is very difficult.
It'll bottom out every night for like 4 or 5 days. In a lot of respects, it's been an adventure. I guess it's probably the easiest way to put it. There's certain annoyances, things that we didn't anticipate that are probably a bit more annoying, that are now just part of our life. and a lot of things that they're more of a joy. We have lovely neighbors, and we have like oceanfront property, even if we don't have a property, and it's really great. We often, when the weather's nice, we'll just have our lunch down at the end of the dock and just sort of watch the world go by, and it's pretty rad. I complain a lot about the propane tanks. So every 4 to 5 weeks, we have to like detach our tanks into the car, to the gas station, back. Now you're lugging these 40-pound propane tanks that are full back onto the house, reattach them. It's not that tedious, but it is something we're learning through our first full winter that we lived here, is that the temperature thresholds of freezing pipes is lower down here than it was up north.
And everything's exposed. Like all of the piping is obviously outside. So sometimes when it gets really, really cold like it did recently, we have to keep our taps running just to make sure the water flows. And it's hard to get warm because you're right above the water. So all of the cold in the water just consistently keeps coming up. So we were running our electric heaters like nonstop, and the fireplace was going nonstop. And this was just for, a BC minus 3 or something.
Well, yeah.
And when it's hot, you do get the benefit of cooling from the ocean and some breeze, but also you get constant sunlight. There's no trees, there's no shade, there's no nothing. So we get temperature extremes of really cold and really hot. I think the shoulder seasons are so far our favorite because it's fine.
People ask, like, it's a question you get asked a lot, like, what are the downsides of float homes? And like, yeah, are some. I don't know if there's any that are like overly regrettable, or at least aren't offset by the benefits. Do I regret living in a float home? Not really. I think you could say that of anywhere you go, there's going to be pros, there's going to be cons. When we bought it, I had some buyer's remorse, but I did when we bought a house that's on an acre of property. Life's what you make of it, and wherever you are, honey.
We had no idea what we were getting into. But it's worked out, I think, better than we thought in terms of affordability at a time that there's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And just living in a float home. Like, we love being on the water.
Subscribe to Exploring Alternatives, and if you want to see more float home videos, you can check out our float home playlist with lots of great tours, interviews, and stories. Thanks for watching.